right, man. Looks like Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are in hot demand. Seems like Carolina Panthers want to hire Ben Johnson, but we'll get to that later. But I hit the link tree. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcast. Well, just Spotify and Anchor, excuse me. So yeah, Aaron Glenn is being looked at obviously by the Commanders. Also, I think he's being looked at the by the Los Angeles Chargers as well. Ben Johnson right now, Carolina Panthers, Commanders, and Chargers. So yeah, most people think Jim Harbaugh might land in Chicago, which that's not gonna happen. They're keeping their head coach Matt Eberflus. They fired their quarterbacks coach, and I think maybe their offensive coordinator. Don't quote me on that. Also, the Carolina Panthers are interviewing one of the Lions front office guys, Mike Disner. So yeah, he's there. Reportedly hiring him. Okay, so but yeah, like I said with Aaron Glenn, he was voted in the top 5 by the NFL Players Association. They did a rankings. They asked their players to rank their favorite coordinators, and he was the top guy, top defensive coordinator. They did top 5. They haven't released a full list. Ben Johnson didn't make the top 5, so it don't mean these guys don't love him. Just something to think about. I don't know how the votes placed or how they ranked them. I'm not sure. But apparently, a lot of people like what Aaron Glenn did around with Detroit, and with some limited guys he had. A lot of people in Detroit got mixed feelings about him. But I think we get a little over emotional during the games. Maybe he don't have the horses, missing the pass rusher, probably missing some two corners, has some injuries in the back end, and every now and again he calls a really good game, like the Dallas game. They look pretty good. And then it's some other games where they just don't seem to play with the juice that they should play with. So the Dallas game, for the most part, they did their job, other than giving up that big pass to CeeDee Lamb, especially with Cam Sutton. People forgetting being a game time decision for the team. So that was one thing to look at. But yeah, I think people be looking for a leader of men, a guy that guys respect in the locker room and won't get behind and run through a wall for. And I think Aaron Glenn is that guy. And obviously, his reputation probably as a player through the league, playing with the Jets. I remember he's a Pro Bowler. Probably don't hurt neither being a player's coach. So yeah, that's what Dan Campbell built. He built a organization of or coaching staff of ex-players, a lot of them. So. But with Ben Johnson, Commanders, the Panthers would love to hire him. Is the rumor out here, according to ESPN Insider or NFL Insider, Jeremy Fowler. But last year, you got to remember, Ben Johnson declined a second interview with the Carolina Panthers and opted to go to Detroit. So I don't know if the offer wasn't enough, or maybe he just didn't like David Tepper. And I think it's going to be hard to get people to come down to the Commanders and coach. I think that's the worst opening right now is the Commanders, just due to the owner, how they treated Frank Reich, fire him in the middle of the season. They fired the general manager. But money talking bullshit walk. They paid Ben Johnson enough money, he'll be there. And also, I think according to this Wikipedia file, he was born in Charleston, North Carolina, so not too far away. But, for him to walk away from a second interview, it had to be something that maybe he didn't feel like he had a chance at the job, so he walked away. Probably had a feeling they was going to go another way. But apparently they want to hire him, and like I said before, that's just wouldn't be a job that I would be interested in taking because of David Tepper. And you got to understand the owner. Then you got to understand too is that the coaching is a fraternity too. They got their own little fraternity coaching wise. So they got their own little coaching fraternity. So you got to remember that they got their own little coaching fraternity. So, they all probably some talk to each other, whatever. But him and Aaron Glenn in that Commanders role, I think the ownership that I forget who bought the team, but Magic Johnson's part of the ownership group that bought the Commanders. So he usually do good things and financially do good things and all that stuff. And there's as a really good guy around the world. So maybe that'd be intriguing. Chocolate City, in DC, that'd be a good look. But really, when you look at the roster, I mean, what do you got to work with? And that same thing with the Commanders, Chargers, and any other opening. You're looking at the quarterback spot, and what makes the Chargers the most attractive opening is they got a quarterback. They got offensive weapons when Mike Williams come back. It just seemed defensively, some things was lacking over there with even all the defensive talent. Mack led the league in sacks, I think, or was up there. Joey Bosa, you know what I'm saying? So they got a lot of talent, and they moved from San Diego to LA. It's Southern California. It's LA. You know what I'm saying? Now, they not big on football in LA like that unless they creating a winner. You got to understand, Detroit Lions was the second biggest market watching the Super Bowl when they made the Super Bowl, and they own arena behind, I think, Cincinnati. More Detroiters watch the Super Bowl than LA Chargers fans. I mean, LA Ram fans. My bad. I'm talking about, I got two different friends, but I'm just using the city as it's not really a big football city. Great high school football scene, but, really, there's so much to do in Southern California and California in general, and most places in California, that if you ain't winning, they ain't gonna waste their time. They gonna take their money and go do other things. But, maybe that'd be Jim Harbaugh's spot to get. Who knows? Raiders, Chargers, Commanders, and Panthers. But the Panthers just look like the lesser job. And in Chicago, they kept Matt Eberflus. Now, Tennessee Titans' job did open up, but that's a complete rebuild. How do you view Will Levis? How do you view Bryce Young? That's, how do you, view the O'Donnell kid out there in Vegas? Or what's the plan for us to get a quarterback? If you ain't got no quarterback, you really, and your owner shitty in the Carolina Panthers, you know what I'm saying? It's just to the point like, shitty owner, don't really care for the quarterback. No, I can wait for a better opening. But you got to remember, you keep waiting and waiting. You have a bad year, calling your team have a bad year, then you're no longer a hot candidate. New England could have an opening. How do people view, going out there and playing for Robert Kraft and going to New England and dealing with all that snow? You got to think about your kids got to live up there, all that snow. I mean, in D.C. is snow, and Carolina's pretty good weather. L.A. is fantastic weather. Out in Vegas is great weather in the winter. In Tennessee is solid weather. So, but it's all about how you view the ownership, what powers the general manager, the quarterback. Those are the things you're looking at. So we'll have to wait and see. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance. Get notifications we go live or drop video. Hit the link tree. You can financially support the channel. Cash App, $CJ Good 313. Venmo, CJ Good 313. PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree. You can literally find me there from Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Pie. Well, that's it. All my other channels there as well too. Appreciate the love, support. Peace.